Imagine a company having 40% share in the market, which has been dominating the market. Competitors fear you, customers trust you, and cash inflow is huge. But suddenly there is a market shift. It's like magical, overnight. What would you do? Would you take care of the existing business that you're running right now? Or would you build something new? Your competitors are very strong with their product. Let me know in the comments. Today we are going to talk about Nokia, which is an undisputed king in 2000s in the mobile phone division. Suddenly there was a disruption because of market shift, and the company lost its mobile phone division. But more importantly, it still survived that loss. Let's look at the analysis of the company. This is not Nokia versus Apple, my dear friends. This is Nokia versus Nokia, where we can understand the changes in the company from 2005 to 2015. Let's go. The main question here, my dear friends, is why am I choosing and why am I comparing Nokia with itself? I want you to very clearly understand that I am choosing two 5-year timeline periods of Nokia and comparing Nokia with itself from 2005 to 2009 and another 5-year timeline from 2011 to 2015. Chapter number 1, the king. Right now, we remember Nokia as a failed company, a company which could not hold its stance. But that's a mistake, my dear friends, because back in 2005, Nokia wasn't just another mobile phone company. It was a mobile phone industry altogether, because it commanded more than 40% of global mobile phone market. If you were a competitor, you wanted to become like Nokia. If you are a customer, you probably owned a Nokia. And a lot of companies, even outside the electronic industry, wanted to become something like Nokia. But beneath the surface, market shift was quietly building. Act number 2, the storm, which has arrived in 2007. When Steve Jobs was on stage unveiling iPhone, that moment looks very obvious today, but back then it was not obvious, because iPhone was not having a good battery life, nor it had a keyboard, and it was very expensive. Many experts believed that Nokia would gain and iPhone would fail, including the Nokia's engineers who looked at the device and concluded that it's going to be a very big failure because it never matched anything related to the traditional phone metrics. But Nokia made a very critical mistake. The company evaluated that iPhone was just a normal phone, but iPhone was building something entirely different. Nokia saw a phone and Apple saw a computer. Nokia believed the future is going to belong to better phones with buttons, internet, etc. But Apple believed the future belonged to mobile computing. The rules of the game have changed. Nokia has not realized it yet. Act number 3, running faster in the wrong direction. Let me show you the financial statements of two time periods that I have chosen, and let us then move forward. These are the financial statements of Nokia from 2005 to 2009. And this is the balance sheet, my dear friends. In share capital, it started with minus 3000 and ended with minus 562. So this decrease is because of buyback of treasury shares, which is a very good sign. I find a pattern when I analyze the financial statements of Nokia. The pattern is that there is an increase from 2005 to 2007, and there is a gradual decrease from 2008-9. Long-term borrowings are increasing, which means that the company is trying to borrow more amount of money and it is trying to spend somewhere. So let us look where it is trying to spend. So if I look at the tangible and intangible assets, there is a huge amount of increase. Probably the company is trying to gain more amount of assets. This is because of the smartphone market which got created in 2007. And these are the reactions that Nokia is trying to put in. All the assets, revenues, reserve and surplus are increasing from 2005 to 2007, and there is a gradual decrease from 2007 to 2009. Is this the case with profit and loss as well? Now let us look at the profit and loss of the company. Yes, there is an increase from 2005 to 2007, and then there is a decrease after that. Intangible assets increase here. It is because of acquisition of new companies. I want to bring your attention to their total revenues that we have here, from 34 to 53 and then to 41. In 2006, the company had 41,000 revenue, and in 2009 it had similar revenue by spending almost similar amount of sales. From one point of view, you might say that the company is efficient, but for a company which had gone through acquisitions, like for example Navtech here, they have Symbian, they have many other companies, a decrease in revenues, total revenues, is not a very good sign, my dear friends, with impairment of goodwill, which means that the company is trying to decrease the goodwill that it had initially increased due to the acquisitions. Of course, there will be an increase in general sales and admin expenses because the company is trying to counter the smartphone market. The company has been spending huge amount of R&D, but I want you to very clearly remember one thing, my dear friends. The spending that you do on R&D needs the right direction. Nokia has been spending huge amounts of R&D on button phones here rather than smartphones. Of course, it started to venture into smartphones, but there is a huge amount of R&D which is being spent only on button phones. If I look at the net profits of the company, there is an increase till 2007 and then there is a decrease by 2009. I want to tell you that I have come up with a new financial model which gives scores of several different line items that are present in the financial statements of these companies. Like I give the efficiencies of each line item from P&L to balance sheet to cash flow, etc., with respect to the competitors, with respect to the market. So if you want your financial statements to be analyzed, you can start contacting me here on YouTube or on my LinkedIn as well. Now let us look at the financial statements of Nokia from 2011 to 2015. These are the financial statements of Nokia from 2011 to 2015. Share capital, yes, there is a decrease in share capital, but there is a huge amount of decrease here, which shows that the company has done some kind of an internal restructuring, or there could be an acquisition or merger. And then there is a decrease in reserve and surplus, and then there is a steady increase in reserve and surplus after that. This is a very good sign. From 6,000 to 10,000, that is a very good sign. But from 13,000 to 6,000 is not a very good sign. Now let us find out why we have this. Of course, there is a long-term borrowing decrease here, which means that the company is trying to pay back all its loans regularly. Short-term borrowing also has decreased. Now this is not a very good sign, my dear friends. This very clearly shows that the company has done a very big internal restructuring. Now let us look at the internal restructuring in the P&L. But here, if I look at the tangible assets and intangible assets, there is a tremendous amount of decrease here as well. Now, all these things put together very clearly shows that Nokia has done some kind of internal restructuring. This is the P&L of Nokia. Smartphones and mobile phones is not producing any revenue here for 13, 14 and 15, which means that the company has sold its smartphone and mobile phone device to Microsoft. We can find that in the news as well. I have a question here, my dear friends, that why did Nokia sell its mobile phone division to Microsoft, where Microsoft is not a mobile phone company? There are new sources that Nokia has started getting its revenues from. Of course, there is going to be a decrease in total revenue and cost of sales as well. We can find that impairment of goodwill. The company has understood that its acquisitions are not working properly. The company has restructured and redirected its research and development towards something else, which is very clearly showing a positive result here, my dear friends. From 2014-15, we can find there is a positive net profit here. Now let us look at the next act number 4. Unfortunately, Nokia had many other problems. Its biggest competitors are not Apple or Google, but the biggest competitor of Nokia was Nokia itself. Inside the company, different teams were fighting for different visions of the future. Symbian, Maimo, Migo, different operating systems, different priorities, and different strategies. While Apple and Android were building ecosystems, Nokia was debating which ecosystem it should build. While competitors were executing, Nokia was still arguing, and it had an internal civil war. And in a rapidly changing market, hesitation is fatal. The fall. By 2011, Nokia finally accepted what the market already knew. The old strategy was not working. Management released what became known as the burning platform memo. And then Nokia made one of the boldest decisions in the history. It abandoned its own software ambitions and partnered with Microsoft. The goal was very clear, my dear friends. It was to create a third ecosystem capable of competing with Apple, Android. In reality, a devastating problem has emerged. Consumers wouldn't buy Windows phones because there weren't enough apps. Developers wouldn't build apps because there weren't enough users. The ecosystem became trapped. Nokia agreed to sell its handset division to Microsoft. If you remember, I was speaking about this in the financial statements. And then many people believed that Nokia was completely dead. But there was another story which was starting to begin. Act number 6, Phoenix. Most people think Nokia died in 2013. I think Nokia started to survive and it had a narrow escape in 2013. The financial statements tell a completely different story. As I pointed out, capital and reserves started to decline in 2012. The assets were sold, liabilities have been repaid, operating became smaller. The empire shrank. But something important started to happen. Nokia was no longer trying to save its old identity. It was creating a new one. The 5.4 billion euros received from Microsoft gave Nokia something more valuable than money. Time. Time to reinvent itself, time to focus on telecom infrastructure, time to focus on network equipment, time to focus on patents and technology licensing. I'm going to take you through the risks of the company from 2005 to 2009. Looking back, 3 major risks were already visible. The first, strategic misallocation risk. Nokia was investing billions, but those investments were not generating ecosystem advantage management has been expecting. The second is organizational paralysis risk. Multiple operating systems and competing internal visions slowed the execution. The third is legacy success risk. Nokia was operating for a market that was disappearing. Now, I want you to very clearly understand here that these risks from 2005 to 2009 reflect the strategic decisions that Nokia had taken from 2005 to 2009, and the next risks from 2011 to 2015. There are three new risks which have emerged because of the strategic decisions. The first is ecosystem dependency risk. Nokia's future became heavily dependent on Microsoft's success. The second is reinvention risk. Selling the handset business solved one problem but did not guarantee a successful future. The third risk is shrinking scale risk. As assets and operations were sold, Nokia risked becoming too small to remain competitive in the market. The lessons for business owners: 1. Success can blind you. The biggest threat to Nokia was not Apple. It was believing yesterday's success guaranteed tomorrow's success. Lesson number 2. During market shifts, speed mattered more than size. Nokia had money, Nokia had customers, and Nokia had market share. What it lacked was speed of execution. Lesson number 3 is sometimes survival requires letting go. Many business owners try to save everything. Nokia survived because it eventually accepted reality and abandoned a battle it could no longer win. I want you to understand that Nokia's story is often told as a story of failure. I think that's an incomplete statement. Nokia failed to adapt to one market shift, but it succeeded in adapting to another. The company lost the smartphone war, yet it has survived, and perhaps that's the most important lesson of all. Market shifts don't care how successful you were yesterday. They only care whether you were prepared for tomorrow. And thank you very much for watching, my dear friends. And if you want any analysis, any competitive analysis with respect to your competitors, with respect to the market, then you need to come to us. Yours financially, Matishna.